to this crusade? There has been so much publications about this big crusade happening in, if not the biggest in recent time in Ibadan. Now, what prompted the location Ibadan?
Very good question, but if I may give you a parenthetical background so that you can capture the reason.
Please, go ahead.
From the day of my calling, I'd always wanted to just be an evangelist. But in those days, the church in which we found ourselves wanted pastors. So by fire, by force, we all had to be pastors. But the cry of the wild as an evangelist was always in my spirit. So being in England, I was invited to speak for a church in Ghana. This church in Ghana, every time I come to speak, they'll put me in a room where they are entertaining me. And while they are entertaining, they are playing video. So on one occasion, while they were playing the video, I started watching. And it resonated with the way I'd always wanted to do evangelism. I am not here to criticize great men who have blessed us in Nigeria, like Reinhard Bonnke, etc., etc. But I just noticed that people will walk 5-6 hours to the crusade. When it's over, something had to kind of find their way back home, and I felt Africa needs a kind of compassion crusade. The one that does not only minister to your spirit man, it also touched you on a physical level. And that was what I saw in Ghana. These guys were playing videos where the kind of thing I had never seen. Tí àwọn ará Ghana yìí tán bá kọ́kọ́ lọ sí ìlú tán ti fẹ́ ṣe ìsọjí, wọ́n kọ́kọ́ gba ọsibítù kan. Wọ́n wá kó àwọn dókítà wọ̀lú. Àwọn dókítà yẹn ó ṣe àyẹ̀wò fáwọn aráàlú. Wọ́n polongo ìwọ tó ń fẹ́ iṣẹ́ abẹ o. Wá rí wa fẹ́ ṣe fún ọ lọ́fẹ̀ẹ́. Ìró ya. Wọ́n wá kó àwọn tí wọ́n ṣiṣẹ́ abẹ fún. Lẹ́yìn ìgbà tán bá ṣe léyìí tán, ìsọjí àṣẹ wà bẹ́ẹ̀ lálẹ́. Ìsọjí àgbáyanu, ìwòsàn, ìtúsílẹ̀, ìdáǹdè ó ṣẹlẹ̀ lálẹ́. Ṣùgbọ́n tó bá wá di àárọ̀ ọjọ́ kejì, wọ́n wà mọ̀ pín ẹ̀bùn. Ẹni tán fún ní ọkọ́ láti fi roko, ẹni tán fún ní àdá láti fi ṣàgbẹ̀, oúnjẹ oríṣiríṣi nǹkan. Àmọ́ ní irú eléyìí gan-an ni ìpínlẹ̀ Áfíríkà ló yẹ ká máa ṣe ń sìn. Kì í ṣe pé ohun tá à ń ṣe látijọ́ kò bójú mu o. Ohun àkọ́kọ́ tó yẹ ká ṣe náà ni pé ká polongo ìhìn rere, ṣùgbọ́n ká da nǹkan mọ́ tí ó jẹ́ kí àwọn èèyàn kí wọ́n lè rí ìrọ̀rùn, kí ayé wọn kó tún lè rí ìrọ̀rùn sí. What I saw in Ghana really motivated me. I saw that these guys, they'll take over a hospital and they'll screen people and do surgery. Nighttime, evening crusades, miracles, healings, deliverances. Daytime, massive relief. In fact, I remember when I now decided I was going to follow them.
Which was quite innovative, actually.
Yeah, it was quite innovative. And then I now told them I want to follow them to come and understudy them. They were laughing that because, you this Nigeria, UK pastor, you want to follow us to villages of Ghana. I said, watch me. So I followed them to all kinds of corners of Ghana, eastern Ghana, western, northern, southern, everywhere, to even villages you will not find on the map of Ghana. I followed them. And I observed the way they were doing it because I knew that this is something I would do in Nigeria at this season of my ministry.
Okay, is that one of the reasons that inspired you to establish the Christ Compassion to the Rural World Foundation?
Very much so, yeah. So having studied them, not only studying them, I actually took some of my people from England. I said, follow me. Everything you see them do, write it down, document it, ask them questions. How do they manage crowd? How come despite the crowd there is no casualty, there is no stampede? We studied the way they divided the crowd according to age, according to need, and then saw that, look, ọgbọ́n tán láyé ká wá lọ sọ́run, ọgbọ́n ọlọ́gbọ́n kì í sì jẹ́ ká gbé àgbà ní wèrè. If you don't need to reinvent the wheel. If you saw someone who's doing it well, humble yourself, learn from him. These guys will call me their senior evangelist whenever I went with them. And I told them, no, I'm not your senior evangelist, I'm your senior student. So after 8 years of following them, then I now felt it was time to start in Nigeria.
Okay, now let's look at the Christ Compassion to the Rural World, CCRW.
Yes.
What is that foundation all about? What is the focus of that foundation?
Sure, as an attenuation from what I just described and from the ministry I observed. Matter of fact, I just decided their own is called Christ to the Rural World. I'll call my own Christ Compassion to the Rural World because I learned from them. And I decided that this is what I want to do. It's a ministry focus that is primarily to preach the gospel of Jesus Christ. That's all I have done for most of my life. I was 20 when I got born again, 22 when I went to seminary. I'm 72, so 50 years of my life.
You're 72.
Yes, sir.
You don't look 72. You look quite younger than 72.
Well, I'm trying to...
Quite younger than 72.
I'm trying to look like Reverend Nee, so you never...
I was going to say that my Reverend Nee down, see, you're always looking like the same age mate. That's interesting.
Well,
that's only grace of God can.
Yes, grace of
that.
God, and then maybe another day I might come back and tell you some of the crazy things I had to do when it comes to food and exercise.
Please, you have the floor. Please, I'm interested in.
No,
knowing
this station has to pay me for that one.
Oh, you don't want to let the.
Anyway, I have some very crazy regime. I don't eat rice. I don't eat eba. I don't eat amala. I don't eat yam. I had to reinvent my own food because oúnjẹ tá ń jẹ ní ilẹ̀ ìbínibí wa àwọn bàbá wa tí wọ́n pètò àwọn oúnjẹ yìí wọ́n bá ti jẹ tán láàárọ̀ tán bá bọ́ sóko báyìí gbogbo ohun tí wọ́n jẹ náà ó dà
sí orí oko yẹn.
àwa sì rèé ará àgbòrò ni a jókòó sílé tó ní air condition a wọ mọ́tò tó ní air condition a lọ service tó ní air condition. Agbára káká la fi rìn káàkiri ibi tó yẹ ká lọ sọ fún ìyá lágbájá pé àwọn ni ẹ wá kẹ dájú
fóònù láàfi pè
wọ́n ó wá di pé à ń jẹ
ó wá ń sẹ̀ sára
kò dáa bóúnjẹ yẹn ò bá lọ sọ́tún á lọ sósì tí ò bá lọ sẹ́yìn á lọ wájú á wá di pé ọkùnrin ń lóyún oṣù 5 tí ò bí wá rí i pé àṣírí tó wà mẹ́rin pé káwa gan ní ayé ọ̀làjú ìkádà oúnjẹ tiwa lẹ̀ ìyẹn ìkíní ìkejì náà tó wà ní pé káró lè ṣe pé èèyàn gbọ́dọ̀ parọ́ fún rẹ̀ kó ní àgbà tí dé òun ò lè ṣe exercise torí náà ní ọjọ́ méjì ni mo rìn wákàtí 3 mo ṣe exercise wákàtí 3 ní bá ṣe lẹ́yìn ọ̀tún la máa tún ṣe wákàtí 3 sí 4 àwọn nǹkan tí pẹ̀lú orí ọ̀fẹ́ Ọlọ́run o kì í ṣe pé
bẹ́ẹ̀ni. Now let's come back to this Love Crusade Ibadan.
Yes.
Now, could you give us an insight into the scope and the scale of this crusade?
Well, by way of a parenthesis again, so I will finished in Ghana, and I began to pray for where to go. And after a lot of prayer, God led me to do Ikorodu. I was surprised. I was standing on the balcony of a small house I have in Lekki. My house faces the lagoon. So one day as I was praying, God said, Anton walo Sokoto. Sokoto. I was looking at the roofs of Ikorodu. It was so surreal because that's also the town where I went to seminary. So I just grabbed my anointing oil, told my driver we're going to Ikorodu, went to Googled for the largest crusade space, and it was Ikorodu Igbogo Stadium. Got there, it had not been finished, it had been abandoned for 10 years. Went to His Excellency, Governor of Lagos. He was so benevolent and generous. Quickly they finished the stadium, finished the road in front of it, set up a parallel committee to work with us when they heard the magnitude of what we wanted to do. So in Ikorodu we distributed 50,000 packs of rice, 50,000 packs of beans, 50,000 packs of gari, 10,000 sugar, 10,000 oil, 10,000 this, that, 10,000 buckets. But then on the medical day, we prepared about 70,000 adults and 20,000 children showed up. It was overwhelming. So that precipitated Ibadan. So after Ikorodu, I began to pray again, where should we go? Because I had always told myself, I don't want to go to the town I like.
Okay.
You see, for 13 years, I held a widows event in my father's hometown, Odeomu, Osun State. And in fact, the last one, which was 2020, we had 23,000 widows. But then I didn't want to do it because it was my hometown, and I knew when the Lord wanted me to shut down the widows event. Not because the widows didn't have a need, but because of the magnitude of what I was about to step into. So it was in the middle of the prayer that I said God should speak to me. And my friend appeared to me in my dream, my friend Bishop Walioke. I said, So when I woke up, I said, this is the first witness. I said, God, give me another witness. Another night again, I slept, I saw him again. I said, okay, you alone, wájẹ́ ló ní máa lọ Ìbàdàn lẹ́nu ẹlẹ́rìí méjì tàbí mẹ́ta la ó fi ìdí òdodo múlẹ̀. I then had another visitation from an American evangelist, Creflo Dollar. You need to go to Ibadan. So I knew it was the turn of Ibadan.
Ibadan was the chosen.
Yes. I didn't want to go to any city because somebody called me. You know, sometimes when people saw the magnitude of Ikorodu, began to get calls. You should come to our town. You should come to this. No. It has to be by the leading of God. So Ibadan, here we are. And Ibadan also was surreal because, like I told you, this was my landing place.
Definitely.
As I left, in fact, we were driving here now. I was telling my driver and police that train station in Dubai, that's where we always come to once every year, 1959, 60, 61, 62, 63, 64, 65, 66. The train station was fantastic. It was first class. That was where we took the train to Kaduna or Zaria. It was the same place we landed in. And just in front of the station was the Bole Kaja that would take you to Ife or Diomu. In those days, that's a long time. And it was most of them belonged to one Ibadan man called A.A. Amahu. Tioluwani Yoshe. A.A. Amahu.
Tioluwani Yoshe. Okay, now to the theme of this crusade, this love.
Yes.
What inspired that theme?
Well, you see, every of the crusade we felt we needed to know what is the inspiration. What does God want us to do? So Ikorodu was Ikorodu, this is life. John chapter 17, and this is life, that they might know you, the only true God, and Jesus Christ whom you have sent. But when the Lord laid Ibadan on my heart, he gave us 1 John chapter 4 verse 10, that says, this is love, not that we loved him, but he loved us first and gave his life for us. It resonated powerfully. The God who gave his life when we didn't qualify. Go and give people in Ibadan what some people do not qualify for. I mean, the hundreds of thousands who will come, we don't know them. We'll put gifts in their hand. The only condition will be that you must be in the night meeting to receive the coupon for the daytime meeting.
Okay.
That is a mandatory thing.
Okay, where is this event coming?
So the event is holding 25th to 30th of November at the Liberty Stadium. So the night meeting starts on Monday 25th, 5 p.m. to 8 p.m.
Okay.
All the night meetings are 5 p.m. to 8 p.m. So anybody want your Monday, láago márùn-ún, a ṣetán láago mẹ́jọ lágbára Ọlọ́run. Bàbá sì ti ń ṣetán, a fún kálukú ní ìwé tán fi gba ẹ̀bùn láàárọ̀ ọjọ́ kejì. Láàárọ̀ ọjọ́ kejì, ọjọ́ Ṣẹ́gun kọ́ ni Tuesday. Láàárọ̀ ọjọ́ Ṣẹ́gun, lọ́jọ́ Tuesday, ẹ̀bùn tán ó gbà. Wọ́n gbọ́dọ̀ ti gba coupon tán ó fi gbà lálẹ́ Monday. Ẹni tí ó bá wá tí ó gba coupon kò ní, àwọn ọlọ́pàá ò tiẹ̀ ní jí ó kọjá. Torí pé iye ọlọ́pàá tí ó bá ṣiṣẹ́ wọ́n lé ní 250, wọ́n lé ní 250. Àwọn ọlọ́pàá a ti pàdé pẹ̀lú wọn, a ti ṣe pàdé pẹ̀lú wọn, a ti ṣe gbogbo ètò kí gbogbo nǹkan lè lọ létòlétò. So it is important that a person gets a coupon from the night meeting to be able to get the gift. So Monday night, Tuesday night, Wednesday night, Thursday night, alẹ́ mẹ́rin ní alẹ́ ìsọjí. Ó wá Monday, ó gba coupon. Tuesday, ó gbẹ̀bùn. Ó wá lálẹ́ Tuesday, ó gba coupon. Wednesday, ó gbẹ̀bùn. Ó wá lálẹ́ Wednesday, ó gba coupon. Thursday ó gbẹ̀mú tó bá wá dalẹ̀ Thursday ó wá ó gba coupon àárọ̀ Jímọ̀ láti aago 8 títí dago 6 alẹ́ from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. on Friday and Saturday. Liberty Stadium will become a hospital.
Yeah, I was going to ask you because in this crusade there is the medical outreach too.
Yes.
Please, I want you to go to dissect the shape it's going to take.
Fantastic. So let me first of all start with the one which has already started.
Okay.
We made noise on Solutions FM that people who need surgery should come for screening, and thousands poured into Adeoyo. We brought in 33 surgeons, paid for their hotel, paid for the time they were here, cost us millions. We wanted them to pick 400 people. They ended picking 711 because the need is just huge. Just eye operation alone, they picked about 400. Goiter alone, they picked almost 80 or close to 100. So 711 have already been picked. So while the crusade starts in the evening on Monday, surgery would have started on Monday morning. In fact, ní gẹ́gẹ́ bí àwọn dókítà tí ń bá wa sọ̀rọ̀, wọ́n ní iye àwọn táwọn ti mú yìí 711 táwọn ti mú yìí. Ọjọ́ káwọn bẹ̀rẹ̀ Monday káwọn ṣe tán jọ Jímọ̀ ò lè tó.
Mo fẹ́ bẹ̀rẹ̀ pé ṣé wọ́n lè parí gbogbo iṣẹ́ abẹ yẹn.
Ohun àkọ́kọ́ tán tí ẹ ti ṣe ni pé a ti bá hospital 4 sọ̀rọ̀ kàkà kó jẹ́ ẹyọ kan. Hospital 4 náà ti mọ ṣiṣẹ́ abẹ wọn. Àwa lára gbogbo nǹkan tán ó lò. Àwa lára gbogbo nǹkan tán ó lò. Yàtọ̀ sí yẹn wọ́n fẹ́ bẹ̀rẹ̀ bóyá lọ́sẹ̀ kan kó tó di àkókò ìsọjí náà. Ó ṣe yẹ kó jẹ́ pé bóyá irú ọ̀sẹ̀ tá a mú yìí ni wọ́n ti bẹ̀rẹ̀ iṣẹ́ abẹ ìyẹn lórí ọ̀rọ̀ iṣẹ́ abẹ. Ṣùgbọ̀n tó bá wá di ọjọ́ Jímọ̀ àtọjọ́ Sátidé èyí ló kan gbogbo ènìyàn. Stadium ìgbọ̀ngàn ibi tí wọ́n ti ń ṣeré tá à ń pè ní Liberty tí èèyàn bá wà á rí i pé bí ìgbà tó pín sí 4 ní gbọ̀ngàn tiẹ̀ gangan the main bowl.
The main bowl, okay.
So àwọn obìnrin àtàwọn ọmọ wọn ó jókòó sí sáà kan. Ibi tán bá jókòó sí dókítà tí ó fún wọn lóògùn tí ó yẹ̀ wọ́n wò, àwọn tí wọ́n mọ iṣẹ́ ọwọ́ iṣẹ́ ìṣègùn fáwọn obìnrin àtọmọdé ni ó wà ní apá bẹ̀. Àwọn ọ̀dọ́kùnrin ibi táwọn tán ti ń jókòó sí látijọ́ Tuesday láti gbẹ̀bùn, Wednesday láti gbẹ̀bùn, Thursday láti gbẹ̀bùn, ibẹ̀ náà ó jókòó sí fún ti ọ̀rọ̀ ìṣègùn lọ́jọ́ Jímọ̀ àti Sátidé. Ibi táwọn ọ̀dọ́bìnrin jókòó sí ibẹ̀ náà ó jókòó sí títí tí ìsọjí yóò fi parí. Ibi táwọn ìyá wa bàbá wa àwọn àgbàlagbà àwọn méjì yẹn a fẹ́ dà wọ́n pọ̀ tó ra mọ̀ pé ìyẹn a ò ní wàhálà púpọ̀ láti mánéjà àwọn àgbàlagbà wọ́n wà pọ̀ lójú kan náà. Àwọn yẹn náà irú dókítà tó lè ṣe ìtọ́jú wọn, irú oògùn tí ó mú kára wọn jí pépé ká tún gbé ìgbé ayé wọn kó rọrùn sí ibì kan náà ó jókòó sí. Àwọn tí a sì ń retí nítorí ń taari ní Kòròdú taaro wípé kékeré ni ti ń lọ nílùú ngbà pariwo ń gbò máa di aago 8 ọjọ́ ìṣègùn ní Kòròdú kò tẹ̀ ta aago 8 mo sì wà ní hòtẹ́ẹ̀lì láago 6 àárọ̀ ngbà wọ́n pè mí pé Ìkòròdú stadium ààyè sí mọ́ fáwọn èèyàn o. Kíákíá mo wọjọ tí mo dé wá ń gbà mo rérò báyìí olótù ó wá bá mi lọ́kàn jẹ́ pé èrò ju ètò wa lọ. Our arrangement was just not comparable to the intensity of the crowd. It was just beyond measure. It so broke my heart. And at the same time, we had medicine for everyone.
Okay.
But the crowd
was overwhelming.
It was overwhelming. They themselves were de-arranging our arrangements.
Wow.
Which therefore made it fún àpẹẹrẹ àwọn oní ojú jígí 10,000 la kó wọlé. We had 10,000 glasses to give them. The people were there, but their own argument, fighting, blah blah blah. Èmi ló kàn, ìwọ ló kàn. It made us not to be able to manage more than maybe 1,000 of them in the eye section. In the area of the dentistry, maybe only 500. We had 100 doctors in Ikorodu. So what we are doing in Ibadan, Friday, 200 doctors.
Okay.
About 150 pharmacists, about 100 nurses. So they'll divide them into 4, like I said. And because I said it's a hospital, it's not Dr. Yemi. No. You go through the 9 yards. Number 1, you come to the section where they take your vitals. After they take your vitals, in fact, if you go out to do your vitals, it's about 30,000 naira. After you do your vitals, they pass you to where you now wait. From where you waited, you now see the doctor. When you now finish seeing the doctor writes prescription. After the doctor writes prescription, you now wait in the pharmacy. We have medicines ready of about 300 to 400 million naira.
I was going to ask you because I foresee a lot of people coming, especially for that medical outreach.
Yeah, the last 2 medical days. But Tiojo Jimo, Obakadi Thursday, Lale Thursday, Kotole Walenjo Jimo. So, maybe the only one we might not have a card, I think we might have a card even for Saturday. We'll find a way to devise that one. But you must have a card to enter each one. So we are ready to handle probably 50 to 100,000 people each of the medical days.
Now, with that huge amount, huge number of people, so much money is going into that. Talking about the surgery, let alone the tablets and the drugs that will be provided for those people. Where is the fund coming from?
Well, the first thing was I made a vow. I told God that because I am one of the few pastors who decided that, look, I don't think God gave me a business brain for decoration. I think I have. Sometimes I look at myself more like a dual personality, not in the negative way. I want half of my brain thinks business. I mean, if I can sell bread and cigarette on the street of Jericho and
back in the days.
From the age of 14, I've always sold. And from the age of 27, as a young pastor, I built my first house. You know, they were paying me peanuts in Foursquare, 50 naira lushu. But then I'll gather the same peanuts and I'll go on holiday to England, buy musical instruments, bring them and sell. So I built my first house from business. I just saw that. Business ò dín anointing láyé mi o. Àwọn kan lè mọ̀ ṣe o, àwọn ò ṣe o. Olúwa ò ní káwọ́ mọ̀ ṣe. So I have some real estate companies. So some 70 to 80% of what you are hearing me share is coming from the business I do. Having said that, we've had unbelievable response from some nice people who have given me. I give kudos to 1 or 2 pharmaceutical companies. We just felt, let's write them. And one of them gave us quite a number of supplements. Amazing. In fact, in the providence of God, I went to preach in Ivory Coast, stopped in Togo to catch another flight. And this guy is coming from the US. And by God's incidents, they put him beside me. And he's the man who manufactures supplements. And he gave us 135 boxes. So we must appreciate those who sowed those kind of seed.
Okay.
He did that. There's somebody else who gave us some also. But the majority of it we have had to buy. In fact, just for the surgery, surgery is beginning to cost us just in medicine, and the material is already costing us in the region of 50 million, not to talk of the 20 million for the screening. Screening is not cheap. 33 medical doctors, everything they used to do the screening, you had to pay for it. The hotel they stayed. So just the screening cost me about 15 to 20 million. The surgery is going to cost over 50 million, maybe somewhere between 50 and 80 million. And then we're not talking of those 2 medical days. Those ones are scary. They are very huge, very, very huge.
It's so obvious. Oda, I'm still coming to that one. And fún àǹfààní tí àwọn iṣẹ́ abẹ yẹn, àwọn tó nílò iṣẹ́ abẹ, ṣé àǹfààní sì wà fáwọn tó bá sì fẹ́ wá fi orúkọ sílẹ̀ láti darapọ̀ láti kópa nínú iṣẹ́ abẹ?
ṣe mọ̀ pé ọjọ́ ó tó odidi ọ̀sẹ̀ kan sí méjì tá a fi polongo lórí rédíò pé káwọn èèyàn kí wọ́n wá sí Adé Ọ̀yọ́. Iye àwọn tó wá wọ́n pọ̀ ju iye àwọn tá a lè mú lọ tó bẹ́ẹ̀ tó fi jẹ́ pé nínú iye tí mo sọ pé a mú yìí kì í ṣe gbogbo àwọn tí ó yẹ ká ṣiṣẹ́ abẹ fún gan la mú. Àwọn dókítà gan tó mú àwọn èèyàn àwọn gan bẹ̀rù pé bàbá tó ràn wá oníkàmú irinwó èèyàn a lọ mú ṣe 711 jẹ́ èdègbèje ó lé mọ́kànlá kọ́ náà ń pè yẹn so àti mú ju iye tó sọ lọ ó wá túmọ̀ sí pé òun tààrà tán fi ṣiṣẹ́ ọbẹ̀ ọ̀hún ó wá di ìpele méjì mẹ́ta àwọn tá a ti ràn tán ló tún lọ ń ra nǹkan ẹ máa gbọ́ mi olóòtú wọ́n tán bá lé ní 3,000 wọ́n débẹ̀ lọ́la ó ti di 8,000 ojoojúmọ́ bí dọ́là bá ti ń lọ sókè
nǹkan
wọ̀nyí wọ́n sí oògùn míì tààrà ní 5,000 lọ́dún tó kọjá tá a fẹ́ fi tọ́jú àwọn ará Ìkòròdú à ń rà ní 25,000 ìrẹsì tá a pín lọ́dún tó kọjá ọwọ́ Lagos State láti ra rẹsì lọ́dún tó kọjá àmọ́dúpẹ́ lọ́wọ́ gómìnà Sanwó-Olú òun ló tún sọ fún general manager wọn pé tún gbowó ẹ̀ wálẹ̀ sí bó o bá gbé wálẹ̀ òun ó fowó kún o tààrà àpò 50 kilo ní 38,000 ọdún yìí 65 là ń rà 65,000 àwọn ará ilẹ̀ wa àwa káàárọ̀ oòjíire ẹni bínú ni o ti ń bá sọ pé àwa gan-an ní láti sọjí káyé máa bá ìjọba jà ìrẹsì tá a bẹ́ pín Nasarawa State Taraba láti lọ rà àyẹ̀wò tá a pín Nasarawa State láti lọ rà gàrí tá a pín Benue láti lọ rà ó yẹ ká dá wa bójú.
bó tiẹ̀ ṣe ń bọ̀ lórí ọ̀rọ̀ oúnjẹ tá a fẹ́ pín ní ibi ìpàgọ́ yẹn ṣùgbọ́n kí n tó béèrè ìbéèrè yẹn mo fẹ́ ṣe ojú òpó lẹ̀ káwọn aráalé náà lè béèrè ìbéèrè kan àbí méjì tó máa fẹ́ béèrè lọ́wọ́ yín ẹ̀yin aráalé tẹ́ bá fẹ́ béèrè ìbéèrè àbẹ́ fẹ́ darapọ̀ mọ́ lórí ètò àwọn nọ́mbà tẹ́ lè pèsè ní 0909 8 mẹ́ta 9939 0909 8 mẹ́ta 9939 tàbí 0912 2 mẹ́ta 2939 ẹ sì lè pè 0809 80 mẹ́ta 9939 náà àwọn numbers mẹ́tẹ̀ẹ̀ta yẹn lẹ́yìn láǹfààní láti pè. For our listeners at home that want to be a part of the program, you can call this number 0909 888 9939 0909 888 9939 0912 222 2939 or 0809 888 9939. Dádì lára àwọn nǹkan tí a fẹ́ pín níbi crusade yẹn mo rí níbì kan wípé oúnjẹ náà pẹ̀lú mo sì rí pé àwọn bíi mo ń rí bíi 150,000 bóyá tí mi ò gbọ́ dáadáa ni o bóyá kẹ́ ẹ fẹ́ nu ara yín sọ dáadáa kẹ́yìn ọ̀nà náà dáadáa káwọn aráalé náà lè gbọ́ dáadáa.
ohun tó ṣe náà ni pé ara àwọn ìdọ̀họ́ ìrẹsì láwọn tó ní 50 kg 50 kilogram nínú àwa kó wọn sí kílò kọ̀ọ̀kan ó lè kárí dáadáa àwọn tá a pín rẹsì fún ó wọ ọgọ́jọ ó dín díẹ̀ ní ọgọ́jọ tá a pín so 150,000 yẹn bó ṣe dúró nìyẹn.
ìyẹn fún ìrẹsì.
bẹ́ẹ̀ni bẹ́ẹ̀ náà lẹ wà bẹ́ẹ̀ni gàrí kò dá mi lójú ó ṣe kó jẹ́ pé a rí ẹni tó wá láti iléeṣẹ́ yìí pàápàá tó bá wa péjọpọ̀ lánàá nígbà tá à ń ṣe press conference a tún kó wọn lọ síbi tá a ti kó sí nínú ìlú Ìbàdàn a ti kó dé ó ti wà nìbàdàn bó tilẹ̀ jẹ́ pé àwọn stéètì tó wà lókè ọya láti lọ rà wá gbàhálà tiẹ̀ tó ní láti kó débí.
àwọn aráalé kan fẹ́ bá wa sọ̀rọ̀ ẹ ló ẹ káàárọ̀ o ẹ káàárọ̀ o. Yes sir olúwa ló ń ṣe kí lorúkọ yín bolẹ ti ń pè.
Pásítọ̀ Joseph Ọláníyàn Ọbaṣá ló ń sọ̀rọ̀ láti Sanyo nìbàdàn. Mo kí bàbá wa olùṣọ́ àgùntàn àti ìránṣẹ́ Ọlọ́run alààyè Matthew Ashimolowo. Mo gbàládùra fún wọn pé Ọlọ́run tó ràn yín lọ́wọ́ tẹ́ ṣàṣeyọrí ní Ìkòròdú á ràn yín lọ́wọ́ nílẹ̀ yìí nìbàdàn ní bíbà èmi àti ìyàwó mi a jẹ́ ọ̀kan lára àwọn òṣìṣẹ́ tó máa ṣiṣẹ́ nínú ìtọ́jú náà counseling unit láwà. tó ṣọ́ọ̀ṣì bàbá àlè ibẹ̀ láti meet àti gbèdé àti lọ ṣe meeting lólóróró àti ní liberty lóríṣiríṣi àti lọ gbàdúrà mẹ́ẹ̀. tó mo fi dá yín lójú pé ibi dáradára ni Ọlọ́run darí yín sí o ẹ ṣàṣeyọrí lágbára Ọlọ́run.
Just like you said, there are 5,000 to 10,000 workers. This thing is our initiative, but it has become the initiative of Ibadan churches. The Anglican is with us, the Methodist, the Baptist, the Christian Association of Nigeria, the Pentecostal Fellowship of Nigeria with us. So, and it's not about one local church, it's every church. As a matter of fact, I want to talk about fún Jésù nínú ìpàdé yìí. A pín orúkọ àwọn fún gbogbo àwọn church tí wọ́n gbárùkù mọ́ wa, tí wọ́n darapọ̀ mọ́ wa láti jẹ́ kó ṣeé ṣe kì í ṣe iṣẹ́ ẹnìkan.
Ó dáa, nígbà tá a wá sọ pé oúnjẹ náà pẹ̀lú àwọn nǹkan tá a fẹ́ pín níbi ìpàgọ́ yìí, a sì mọ̀ wípé ebi wà ń lò kọ́lọ́n bá wa dáwọ́lé orílẹ̀-èdè Nàìjíríà ni. Ṣé ẹ sì rò pé ẹsẹ̀ ó sì gbé ìrà bóun náà ṣe mọ́ ń sọ wípé tèrò ó ya síbẹ̀ ìbàbí nígbà tó wá ti káwọn èèyàn wá bá jẹ́ pé ó ti la oúnjẹ lọ torí crowd control ṣé àwọn ìlànà owó lẹ́tí fi sílẹ̀ láti rí wípé gbogbo àwọn wà lọ nírọ̀wọ́rọsẹ̀.
Well, in order to safeguard the event from chaos and any negative, matter of fact, the cost of managing the crowd, managing the event is almost more than the materials being distributed.
The items itself.
Yeah. For example, just the barriers to create your road into the place. We are bringing in 500 barriers from Lagos, and just those barriers are 13 million naira, just to bring the barriers, not to talk of even arranging it. We are grateful to the Commissioner of Police for your state. We met with him and his team. They were even with us again yesterday. We'll be having about 250 policemen on ground. In addition, we've met with His Excellency, the Governor of Oyo State, His Excellency, and we're very grateful to Governor Seyi Makinde. Various government departments are going to be working with us, crowd management, traffic management, etc., etc. So we are very intense on crowd control, and that is what actually led to the fact that the people will be put according to age, according to need, to certain segments, and nobody can come and argue. I mean, ìyàwó mi lájọ wá, ó come down. Ìwọ lọ dúró síbi tó yẹ káwọn ọ̀dọ́ dúró sí, kíyàwó rẹ̀ àtàwọn ọmọ kan dúró síbi tó yẹ kán dúró sí. Tẹ́ bá ti ní tán lẹ́ẹ̀dùn pọ̀. There are some people that will have to show them that, yeah, it is a love crusade, but love can sometimes be tough. You know, with the tough love will tell you, if you don't follow what we say, you may have to go back home, because we do not want chaos. And you can't be treating one person over 90,000 people. In philosophy, we say the whole is greater than the sum. So we can't give one individual over too much attention. We will not do that. We'll let him know this is the principle. For example, with the 711 for surgery, that is why you notice that we could not take any new people. Even though we've had pastors who said, can we bring somebody? And we said no. So we've made adequate arrangement. And matter of fact, people need to know. Boba de bell, Ulanwe Bukan to Jakwe Fango Berini, Tiwo, Dr. Barrick, Mamaritan, yàtọ̀ sí ìrẹsì àtẹ̀wà.
Wọ́n tó pín nǹkan kan fáwọn obìnrin. Ó sì ń wo èmi náà.
Mo róbìnrin tó gbé bọ́kẹ́ẹ̀tì lórí. 150,000 packs of rice, 150,000 packs of beans, 150,000 packs of gari, 100,000 packs of noodle. Bucket tara kò ju 10,000 lọ. Àwọn obìnrin láàfún ọ̀tọ̀ ya gbọ́nsìn yóò ìwọ ọ̀dọ́ tó ń bọ̀ o.
Ó dà irú èmi báyìí tí mo tiẹ̀ fẹ́ràn oúnjẹ púpọ̀ gan-an tí n bá sọ wípé tí mo bá ní òkè ìjọ àkọ́kọ́ yẹn o mo ti fẹ́ mọ̀ ká pín rẹ̀ sí mo ti wá pín rẹ̀ sí. Tuesday yẹn o mo tún gbọ́dọ̀ débẹ̀.
kò lè tẹ́ bá ti ń bọ̀ níjọ́ Tuesday àtúntò.
kí n tún lè rí ìrẹsì gbà náà tún ni o.
ẹ gbọ́dọ̀ wà ń bẹ̀ lálẹ́ ṣẹ́rí tẹ́ bá ti gba káàdì níjọ́ Monday lálẹ́ ẹ gba nǹkan ẹ̀bùn níjọ́ Tuesday. ẹ tún gbọ́dọ̀ wà lálẹ́ Tuesday láti gba káàdì tẹ́ fi gbẹ̀bùn àárọ̀ Wednesday. tó bá wá jẹ́ pé ẹ̀ ń wò ó pé ẹ ti fún mi lẹ́bùn lánàá báwo lẹ ṣe mọ̀ pé.
ibi tí mò ń bọ̀ gan nìyẹn pé.
ọmọdé gbọ́ngbọ́n kúkú ìyá ẹ̀ náà.
ó gbọ́ngbọ́n sísìn.
torí pé a ti ṣe kínní káàkiri a ti ṣe ọdún 13 lọ́dẹ Òmu a ti ṣe Kòròdú a ti ṣe oríṣiríṣi àwa náà àwa rí i pé ìkíní àkọ́kọ́ bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí lo ink a rí i pé àwọn èèyàn ń fọ̀ àbá tún bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí gbé ink election wọlé àwọn èèyàn bá tún bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí dágbọ̀n yẹn.
ọgbọ́n àlùmọ̀kọ́rọ́ yìí.
àwa kan wá gba India lọ so ink tá a tún fẹ́ lò yìí èyí tá ń lò fún election India yẹn pé kò sí democracy tó tóbi tó India so àwọn kan wá lọ gbọ́ngbọ́n ink kan tó yẹ pé kò sí bí o ti fẹ́ fọ̀ o gbọ́dọ̀ lo ọjọ́ 6 lọ́wọ́ ẹ̀ so tó bá wá ń jọ àkọ́kọ́ bóyá ọmọ ń dinrín láàfi ink sí tí o bá tún dijọ́ kejì àti ìmọ̀ ó ṣeéṣe kó jẹ́ àtàǹpàkò láàfi íǹkì sí tó bá tún déńjọ́ kẹta lè jẹ́ tí àwọn Spanish àwọn olóyìnbó ń pè ní annular finger ibi tó ń fi òrùka sí téèyàn bá ṣègbéyàwó ó lè jẹ́ bẹ́ẹ̀ láàfi íǹkì sí ìwọ gan ò tí ì mọ̀ òdìjọ́ náà ṣùgbọ́n àwa náà mọ̀ bá ṣe ṣe.
I would like to ask you this particular question now. Sure. This kind of large outreach you're doing,
yes,
as in to make life easier for the people, it has always been peculiar to the political class. Sure. That we know, and most times they do it for political gains because they are looking for future favor from the masses. Now, you've been a clergy and you're putting so much millions of naira into this, making life of the people better. Is there any kind of agenda, or you're just doing for the love of God? Let me just put it that way.
Yeah, my biggest agenda is the love of God and the salvation of souls. And for the salvation of souls, I would do anything. In a Yoruba song, which we used to sing many years ago, Tori mi ati inrere elo so tira pada. Àwọn oníṣẹ́ rẹ̀ ń ké àmì tìrẹ ní gbogbo ògo. So for Christ and his kingdom, we'll do anything. As far as political ambition is concerned, I'm already 72. What do I need? And where will politics take me that God had not taken me? Which life will politics give me that I don't have? I live in a house that is a dream for many people. I could buy any car I desire. And it has come from my business. God has breathed on my business. And when it comes to traveling around the world, Mr. Lafenwa, I actually come back to Nigeria every week. I go on Saturday, come back Monday. Go on Saturday, come back Monday. Go on Saturday, come back Monday. I don't even think any politician can handle that one. And I didn't do it by being a politician. God has been kind to me. One song says, God has smiled on me. And so the only ambition, the only desire is for Christ and his kingdom. And also probably, who knows, maybe Christ's compassion to the rural world is redefining how Christianity has been done.
Okay. All right, let's take this message. You'll be right back.
ọgbọ̀njọ́ oṣù November mú ìpolongo 2024 wá fún yín o tí àkọlé rẹ̀ ń jẹ́ Christ Compassion to Rural World CCRW máa fi láti Monday ọjọ́ 25 títí di Saturday ọgbọ̀njọ́ oṣù November mú ìpolongo 2024 wá fún yín o tí àkọlé rẹ̀ ń jẹ́ Ìbàdàn nínú èyí ni ìfẹ́ wà. A wà láti wàásù ìyìn rere wo àwọn aláìsàn a ó sì máa pín àwọn nǹkan lóríṣiríṣi láti ọjọ́ Tuesday títí di Thursday láti aago 7 àárọ̀ di aago 2 ọ̀sán 150,000 ìyẹn ẹgbẹ̀rún lọ́nà àádọ́jọ àpò rẹ̀bẹ̀tẹ̀ ráìsì ẹgbẹ̀rún lọ́nà àádọ́jọ àpò rẹ̀bẹ̀tẹ̀ ẹ̀wà ẹgbẹ̀rún lọ́nà àádọ́jọ àpò rẹ̀bẹ̀tẹ̀ gàrí àti ẹgbẹ̀rún lọ́nà àádọ́jọ oríṣiríṣi aṣọ alárànbarà ìtọ́jú ìwòsàn fẹ́ ògbẹ́yìn ní ọjọ́ Friday àti Saturday o èyí ó máa bẹ̀rẹ̀ ní dédé aago 7 àárọ̀ di aago 5 ìrọ̀lẹ́ àwọn ènìyàn tó tó 400 sì tún máa jẹ àǹfààní iṣẹ́ abẹ lọ́fẹ̀ẹ́ o Christ Compassion to Rural World ní Liberty Stadium Ìbàdàn. Fún ìtọ́nisọ́nà olùgbọ̀wọ́ àti fún àlàyé kíkún ẹ kàn sí www.ccrwfoundation.org tàbí kẹ́ ẹ pè 0704 800 0341. Christ Compassion to Rural World CCRW máa fi láti.
All right, you're welcome to the program, A Moment with Pastor Matthew Ashimolowo. And for the past about 50 minutes or thereabout, I've been engaging in conversation with the great man of God, Pastor Matthew Ashimolowo. And Daddy, before I let you go today, we all know the situation of the country at the moment now. What should be the role of the clergy?
As to always, for me, number one, I think the clergy should be neutral politically. A man's political leanings should not be known because he's the father of everyone. In my congregation on typical Sunday morning, there's a chance that members of APC are there, PDP are there, Labour are there. So when you lean to one side, you alienate a certain group of people. Number two is that truth must be spoken. If we become silent because we are afraid, evil will prevail. Number three, truth must be spoken because at some point somebody needs to hear. We must not be the one who told a naked emperor that he's well dressed.
Okay, that's a very deep one. Now, so what would be your word for the nation?
Well, before that, I'd like to just say to the pastors who are in Oyo State, we're having a pastors' conference during that crusade.
Okay.
We're expecting between 5,000 and 10,000 pastors wherever you are and you're hearing this. You have to be there Wednesday morning, Thursday morning. At the end of the 2 days, there is a certificate to give pastors. We also have 10,000 books we want to give them. 2,500 Bibles. I have produced a Bible some years back with the Cambridge University Press. So we only have 2,500 of that one. It may not reach everyone. Then there are some village evangelists who have already registered with us. We have 200 public address systems which will be given the village evangelists. I always wanted to empower village evangelists, so we'll be doing that. To the nation, I say, let us focus on God. Let us know that God is on our side. Nigeria will make it. Nigeria will come out of all these. Nobody should think that because of the battles we are facing, it's the time to disintegrate. Nigeria is the only nation in Africa that must not fall apart. Because if we go to the east, we will overwhelm Benin, Ghana, Togo. We are many. And Nigeria is also the only place where in the providence of God, something brought 400 tribes together. Many people do not realize there are 388 tribes in the north.
Okay, sir. All right. As we wrap up, what are the numbers for inquiries?
Sure.
Okay.
If you want to call us, please call on 0704 800-0341. I repeat that one again, 0704 800-0341 or 0803-579-4064. 0803-579-4064. Thank you.
All right, it's been a pleasure having Pastor Matthew Ashimolowo with us in the studio, the presiding pastor of KICC and the president of the Christ Compassion to the Rural World, CCRW. Once again, I say thank you very much for being a part. And it's been accompanied by my boss, by my teacher, by my mentor, Reverend Nee Downsey. Good to see your handsome face here again this morning. All right, my name is Adedamala Lafenwa, wishing every one of us a very wonderful Wednesday. Good morning once again.